All right, we are live. Thank you for tuning in for this tutorial video. My name is Alex. I work for Brotherly Love Real Estate, and today we are reviewing how to pull data from the website that we'll be pulling from and how to place that into Google Sheets, which is our database that we're using for this one. So I will review all the tools, things that will come up, tips, tricks, and everything that you need to know to expect, or what to expect when you start doing this, and how to go about it, and some fun ideas for how to make it easier on you and make it a smooth process, because that's what it's all about. So let's jump right into it. These are the two websites that you'll be working off of. So first, this is Google Drive. We will be sharing this folder with you. This is the shared folder that is created on Google Drive, shared with you, and we will be using this as our database. This is the cash buyers list. So we open that up, and this is where we will start things off. Once it loads, working. All right, so now that it's loaded up, I will review what all this detail means. So we have all of this information already preloaded, right? So all of the gray columns, that means we already have that information and we do not need any more of it. So we will be using this information here, the property address column, to be pulling information from this website, which we will provide the link, and then we will use information from this website to fill in these spaces. But let's pretend that nothing was here, and we'll start from scratch. So, and this is the rules and tips tab too, which we'll review after, and it will make a little more sense. But this is the basic function of how to complete this project and what you'll do. So we'll jump into property address here, and we'll take our first cell. So you can right click and copy, or if you like your hotkeys, you can do Control C, and that also copies. So you copy the property address, jump over to here, and this website, once you're on this website, you want to make sure that this drop down says the word address. So as you see, there's a couple different options. Just make sure it's on address, and then jump right next to it and paste. So you can do Control V or right click paste. Once you paste it, you can either click that magnifying glass or hit the enter button. So once you do that, it will load. All right. There's a lot of information on this page. We only need to worry about this section. So this first section is the only thing we need to worry about. And if we jump back here, you'll notice all the columns, these yellow ones that we need to fill in. We'll go in order starting here. So we'll start with first name and last name. So we'll jump back to here, and we typed in this address, right? And then here is the owner's name. So we'll need to copy and paste this owner's name into here to start filling in our columns. The way in the order, and this is important to note, the order of the name typically goes last name and then first name. So for this example, William is the first name. So we'll copy and paste William, paste, copy and paste last name, just like that. You can edit these columns to make them bigger or smaller, whatever makes it easiest for you. And if you notice, this is pretty big font when you copy and paste. That's all right. The font doesn't matter for this project, but if you do end up, say, pasting a lot as you go and you're getting all these last names, you can, to make it easier to read, just shrink them like that. Ooh, where'd that go? There we go. But for now, we'll continue on. So first name and last name is what we just pulled from this section. After that, the next column is LLC name. See, that has a star there. So if there was an LLC name, it would also say it right here. So for this one, there's no LLC. So we can actually skip past that one, just leave it blank, and we'll move to our next column. And I'll show an example next of what an LLC looks like. But we'll jump to mailing address next. And mailing address is just the second section right here. So we will need all of this information. The way that it's written out is street address, city, state, and zip code. So it's up to you how you would like to do this, whatever you think is easiest and quickest. So you can just copy and paste like this, one by one. Do paste, double click, copy, paste, paste. We already know that the state is PA, so you can actually type that in if you want to be quicker. And then copy, paste. So that is one complete line, and you are all set to move on to the next one. All right. So if we jump into here, this will be a good example because I already know this one is an LLC, but we'll copy and paste our second property address. So Control C, we'll jump over here, and now we're back on this website, right? We go up to the search tab, we make sure it's on address, we jump in here, we paste, and we search. And this will search our second address, our second line. So if you notice, it says the word LLC. So what that means is there's no first name, there's no last name, and there's only that LLC. So for this example, we will skip first name, skip last name, and copy this entire thing into LLC. Sometimes when you copy and paste, it doesn't copy it all into one cell. If that happens, you'll need to jump into the correct cell and make sure it's all written out in one shot. So you can delete that one. So we have the LLC written out there, and then we'll still pull the same mailing address information. So street, city, state, zip code. And again, it's up to you how you want to copy and paste this stuff, whatever you think is the quickest way. We know it's Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Again, that's going to be the most common. So if that's the case, you can do that as a quicker route. And then the zip codes are usually different. So you can copy, paste, and that's in there like that. So this line is now complete. Let's go on to the next one. We'll run through a couple examples. So copy, paste. All right, here's another good example. So, as I mentioned, the order of the name, so these no LLC, so it's a person's name. There are two names here. This is one person's name. This is the second person's name. We only need one name. We don't need two names. So, pull the name that you think is the guy's name. If they're both guys' names or male names, that's okay. You can just pull that name. But remember the order. It goes last name, first name, and then middle name is the order. So last name, first name, middle name. So for this one, I'm not sure which one is a guy. So for a lot of this, you'll just have to use your best judgment. So I'm just going to assume that this one's a guy, and we'll do, remember, last name is first, and then first name. So I copied and pasted the first name. There's no LLC, so we will skip that, and then we'll handle the mailing address part of it. So copy. We know that it's Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, just from looking at it. And zip code. Now that one is complete. Let's run through a couple more. Copy, paste. And if you notice, you'll start to get quicker on how to do this. So this is a good example too. There's no LLC, so this is a person's name. Rodriguez is the last name. Elster is the first name. And then there's a middle initial. Again, we don't need any middle names or middle initials, so you can leave that out. And we know that this is the first name, so double click, copy, paste. Double click, copy, paste. There's no LLC, so we can skip that section and move on to the mailing address. We know it's Philadelphia, Pennsylvania again. All right, and that one's complete. Let's run through a couple more. First name, last name, mailing address. Control Z. There we go. All right, that one's all set. Boom, address. All right, and you would just do this the same way. So again, last name, first name. And again, if there are two names, we only need one. And then the mailing address. But let's review a couple other things that you may see or may come up. So again, you can edit this, make them smaller so it's easier to read for you. So let's say, for example, that this was on here twice. So I removed all the duplicates, but let's say that both of these property addresses have the same LLC. So let's say that happens, right? So you'll do your search, and you'll search, and you'll say, okay, LLC, copy it. So I know there's no first name, no last name, there's an LLC. And again, it doesn't copy perfectly, so if that does happen, you just gotta go and add it. Look what happened. The second that we have a duplicate in this column, it will highlight in red. If that's the case, and you see a duplicate, we don't need two lines that have that same LLC name. So if it does have that same LLC name, what we can do is jump over here and just delete the row. And the system will automatically let you know that. So for example, once it duplicates, it will highlight. So again, if you see any other duplicates of the LLC names, you can just delete that one line because we only need one LLC if there's multiple of that one. Other rules, tips, and things that could come up as you're doing this. So in this tab, which I've shared this file with you, you can open up the web link here. So this website is this website here. So you always have that ready for you. This rule we went over. So if the owner of the property contains LLC, add the full LLC name, including LLC, into the LLC column. So again, LLC column. And then back to rules and tips. This is important to note. If the owner of the property is one of the following, you can just delete that row entirely. So if in this owner section, if it says any of these words, you can just straight up delete that line and not worry about it. But if it has LL, INC, Corp, Church, Housing Authority, LP, Trust, Investment, Holdings, Bank, Group, Associates, Partners, you can just delete that line right away if it has any of these things. If there's an LLC, we keep it. And if it's a regular person's name, we keep it. If you are unsure which is the first and the last name, which is the first name and which is the last name, again, try and stick with that order of, let's go to an example again, of last name, first name. It will usually be like that, but not 100% of the time. So if it says Simon and then Brofman, try and use your best judgment and just stick with that first name, whichever one you think is the first name. But typically this is the order of last name and then first name. And that's another one of the rules and the tips. Aside from that, that is the basic gist. I mean, so if you'll let's pull other examples to see if anything else strange comes up. Boom, Cinderella Properties LLC. So you'd copy this entire thing and paste that into the LLC section. If you have any questions or if anything comes up as you're doing this, please let me know. And as I said, you can modify this a little bit, the shapes and the sizes to make it easier for you, whatever helps you be the most efficient and helps you just have an easy time doing the project, because we want it to be as easy as possible for you. But let me know if you have any questions, and that is the gist of the project. So thanks again for tuning in.